Good morning, grade 3 and 4. How are you doing today? Today is Wednesday, April 8th, 2020, 4-8-20. Say, before I start, anything else? Did you notice the mistake I made on the board during my morning devotion? Did you catch it? If you didn't catch it, go back and look, see if you can find it. I'll give you an extra point on your math scores today. Silly me. Boy, we'd really be going back in time. That's a clue for you. It's a math thing. All right, so for today, we're going to be looking at multiplying dollars and cents. Fourth graders, I'd like you to listen for that. It's a good review for you. And then also talking about fractions that equal 1 and that equal 1/2. I don't think either of you will have any problem with your lesson that you would be having reading over in your book. I just want to go through them and make sure that we talk about it. And especially with this one here, this one actually goes along with one of the things that we did in our probability investigation on Monday, okay? And by the way, you guys did a great job on that. We're also going to come back then and talk about our Wisconsin statehood test that we'll be taking today. We'll talk a little bit more about one other thing I want you to do with that, and then the review paragraph that you're doing for your chapter book from last month, and then also a reminder on the letters that you're writing for the nursing home people, okay? So first, let's start with math. Let me cut to my other screen. Alrighty, so when we're multiplying dollars and cents, and no matter what we're multiplying, one of the most important things is line up your numbers right neatly, okay? Help yourself out. So here we had $7.75 times 3. Now it's true, we could add $7.75 plus $7.75 plus $7.75, but this is much easier. 3 times 5 is 15, so we simply write down the 5 and carry the 1. Just like in anything that we're multiplying more than a digit there. 3 times 7 is 21. Now we have to add the 1. 21 plus 1 is 22. We write down our 2, carry a 2. 3 times 7 is 21, plus 2 this time is 23. Now, does it make sense to put 2,325 cents? No, that would be ridiculous. Are you going to carry around that many pennies in your wallet or your purse? No, we're going to do dollars and cents. So just like our decimal point is 2 in here when we're doing dollars and cents, we're going to go 2 in here. And you'll notice when we're doing just multiplying by one digit, it does line up. That doesn't always happen in multiplication. So when you were multiplying by one digit, it does, and then our dollar sign at the beginning. So $7.75 times 3 is $23.25. All right, let's try the next one. $4.30. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 3 is 18. Carry the 1. 6 times 4 is 24. 1 more is 25. 2 spots in. 2 spots in. Dollar sign at the front. Okay? And third grade is ready to go on to practice. For our probability, I just wanted to remind you about this from your investigation that you did. And yesterday, fourth graders, you had a question like this. And some of you answered it with a percent instead of a fraction. When they ask you what is the probability of something happening, you want to think what number out of how many total choices do I have? So for example, what is the probability of rolling an even number when I roll a dice? Well, we think there are 3 even numbers out of 6 total choices, and so 3/6. And now you'll learn in your math today that 3/6 is also a fraction that can equal 1/2. All right. Hey, 2 lessons combined here. Chance is looking at percent. Like, what's the chance that it will rain today? 20% chance is what it showed on my phone. Yay! We'll have a nice sunny day, hopefully. What's the percent or the chance that you will roll an even number when you roll a dice? Well, 3 out of 6 or half of the time. So your chance of rolling it would be 50%. Okay, so that is just something, it goes along a little bit with your lesson for today, fourth graders, but just a review from what we learned in our investigation. And also remember, if it's a 100% chance that it would happen, then your probability is a 1, okay? Your probability would be a 1 because 1 over 1 equals 1. And that's something you'll learn in your lesson today, grade 4. So if your chance is 100% chance it's going to happen, then your probability is a 1. All right, I hope that makes some sense. Fourth graders, you'll want to read through your practices. I didn't really go, this is something that's over and above what is on your lesson. So please make sure that you go back to that and read over your lesson. All right, back to me. Hello. All right. So the next thing I wanted to do is just talk a little bit about your Wisconsin history. All right. I hope you have finished your crossword puzzle. If not, get going. All right. Because I am going to give you the answers for that. But think about how we became a state. Okay. Did you understand that from the front cover? For example, the governors that we had in Wisconsin wanted Wisconsin to become a state for many years, and yet the people of Wisconsin did not. What were some of the reasons that the people in Wisconsin decided they were okay with and voted, yes, we want you to go to the United States government and say Wisconsin wants to become a state? Well, if you look on that very first page in your paper, it gives you the reasons why Wisconsin decided, yes, let's be a state. And when I say Wisconsin, I mean the people of Wisconsin. The people of the territory of Wisconsin voted, and then that had to go to Congress, the United States Congress. Now we do have in Wisconsin, you have state representatives and you have state Congress, okay? And they deal with things that are just for the state. And then the United States government, they have their own constitution and their own House of Congress and their own House of Representatives, okay? The senators that we vote and the representative that we vote in Wisconsin, those are our state ones, and they also work and with the whole United States government as well. So your paper is going to be really important to you as you're doing your test, as it always is, okay? And then I want you to think about, why did we have to have a constitution? Well, the Constitution is our rules. The Constitution guarantees a couple different things. Number one, it guarantees the rights of people, but it also shows that we have responsibilities to uphold. A great example in our state right now is Governor Evers wanted the voting date to be changed. It did not follow the Wisconsin state constitution, and so it was a no. Okay, perhaps it didn't follow the U.S. Constitution either. Now, this went in a very short amount of time. Now, it's possible that, for example, if the state doesn't like what the state says about it, they can make an appeal to the United States court, and then those judges would have to rule and say, is it also, does it follow the United States Constitution? So those rules and laws are important. They give us our rights. We have the right to bear arms. We have the right for public speech. It also gives us responsibility. Each state is able to make its own, for example, speed limit laws, okay? Depending on what's important for that state. So there are some United States laws that we have to follow because of that constitution. There are some Wisconsin state laws that we have to follow because of that constitution. Have you ever noticed that when you are maybe going on a longer trip, the speed limit in Wisconsin on a highway might be different than the speed limit in Minnesota, for example, when you're on an open highway. You get out west in Wyoming and Montana, and it can be even different, okay, more different there. So the Constitution is important. What if we didn't have any rules? How would we know how to deal with one another and what is right and what is wrong, okay? Can those rules sometimes be changed? Sure, they can. Okay, but you have to go through that right process of having that be done. Why did we have to have a population? Why do we have to have people to become a state? Well, people bring in money for a state. We have our state taxes that we pay. That helps to pay for public schools, for roads, for libraries, for sometimes medical things that we need, all sorts of things that those taxes pay for. And we also pay a federal tax as well. And so we need those people to be able to generate that income to be able to have the state be viable as well. And what was the last one? A constitution. Oh, why did we have to get Congress's approval? Well, why do you think? If we are wanting to be part of the United States of America, who has to say yes or no? The United States of America. You're right. Okay. Just like at home, if you want to do something, you have to ask permission of someone, right? The person who's in charge of that complete area. In your home, would be your mom or dad. At school, if we were all together here, it would be Mrs. Stolt or perhaps Mr. Roseno, depending on where we are and who we're with. Okay. So we have to ask permission to do things. We can't just say, oh, I'm going to be part of your family. Thanks. All right. It might be fun though, wouldn't it? But there's a reason. There's a process we have to go through. So I hope that helps you a little bit. And one other thing, I'm going to cut to my other screen here. Back to our Wisconsin history. Okay. It gave a lot of information on Wisconsin state facts and trivia. I'm going to caution you. For example, on the state bird here, it says that school children chose the American robin as the state's bird in 1927. The choice was made official in 1949. So notice how there are two dates. The date that it was chosen, and look, it took 22 years before it was made official. So as you're reading your test, be very careful about that. Make sure you're answering the correct number. Are they asking you what year it was chosen or what year it was made official? Okay, so be careful on that as well. All righty. And by the way, I was wondering, what do you think is Wisconsin's most recognized symbol, or what do you think is the most important one? If we could only have one symbol, and when people saw it, they would say, ah, that stands for Wisconsin. What would you choose? What do you think is the most important thing? Is it the robin? Is it cheese? Is it a cow? Is it that badger? What do you think? For example, maybe you choose the robin, but if you happen to recall a few years ago when we were going through different states' information, many states have a robin as their state bird, not just us. So that might be confusing then for people from another state. So think if someone else that is not from Wisconsin, what would be important and what would stand out for them and say, oh yeah, they mean Wisconsin. All right, back to me. Hello, here I am again. All righty, so one more thing on our Wisconsin history, and that is, remember how you had that preamble booklet on the back. Please make sure that I have graded your test and that is all finished before you do it. But I do want you to cut it out and follow the directions on the inside part here. Okay, follow the directions on the inside part. And if you'll notice, your cutting out is going to take out the bottom section of your directions there. So you might want to have that. Where else could you look? I just thought of it. On your Chromebook. Sure, go to Studies Weekly. You've got your paper there. So never mind. You're fine. You've got the directions. Every once in a while, I come up with a good one, don't I? All right, so here's what I want you to do with that. Are you listening and paying attention? Because this one is not on your calendar of assignments. So you are going to perhaps need to write this down so you know what you need to do. So you are going to create this booklet, just like they show you in the front or in the inside. You're going to make the book. You're going to practice reading your book, putting it all together, putting it in order, reading your book. Practice reading it. Then have someone take a video of you reading the preamble to the Constitution of Wisconsin. Send that video to me, and we're all set to go. So yes, that is an assignment. Make the booklet, practice reading it. When you're ready, have someone videotape you reading it, and then send it to me. Let's see. On that one, I will give you through next Wednesday. Okay, through next Wednesday, the end of the day. And I guess I would prefer not midnight. A little earlier than that would be nice. How about we say the end of the school day next Wednesday? All right, so by 3 o'clock next Wednesday, April 15th, you will send me a video recording of you reading the preamble from the book that you made. Can you do it prior to that? Absolutely. Okay. The last thing that I have to talk to you about is that paragraph. Okay. Are you freaking out? I hope not. Okay. Don't freak out about it. All right. So remember, you're doing just the opening paragraph. You want to do something to catch the reader's attention and then tell them what you're going to tell them. You want to include your book title and the author and maybe a little bit about character settings in this first opening paragraph. Remember, you're writing one paragraph, and this I do expect you to have done either by the end of the day today, or you will have to submit it to me by noon tomorrow. I need to be able to look at it and get it back to you so that you can make corrections on it and we can move on next week to the next paragraphs. Okay? Here's something that might help you if you're having trouble trying to decide, what am I going to write about? All right, let me get a little piece of paper, and I'm back. Here I am. Just going to use my little part here. Maybe do a web. Okay, so let's say you want to think about important events. Okay, and then think about 4 or 5 important events and just give a real brief description of them in each of these. So one important event would go there, one important event in another spot, another important event, another important event. You know, maybe you'll have only 3, but make a web of important events. Then in a separate spot, important characters. Okay, and list who you think are the important characters. Okay, that can kind of get you thinking about it. And then another one to do is problem solution. And with this one, maybe you want to do it in half. So you'd put your problem on one part and then how is it solved over there. Oftentimes stories are written with different problems that come up and how are they solved. Now that might go along with your events one. Okay. Now did you notice here what we did? Here you might have what you want to write about. In your opening paragraph, you could say something about that there were many important events or many important characters in this book. And then your next paragraphs after this could talk about in more detail those important events and those important characters. Okay, so my advice to you is just write something. Just write something. That's what I'd like you to do today. Give yourself some time and just write something. Write how you felt about the book. Write a sentence with the author's name and the title of the book, and then write what you think you're going to write about. I'll help you with the rest. I promise. Okay? It's not as hard as you think. All right. Have a great rest of the day. I wish you a blessed Holy Week and a happy Easter on Sunday, and then a few more days of vacation next week as well. Love you much.